Greetings! Welcome to the diary of Cobweb Cottage, a little yellow house tucked among the towering pines, just beyond the old stone wall of the village cemetery. Here in our tiny yet cozy home, we spend our days enjoying the garden, painting by the window, baking homemade pies, and filling every corner with vintage charm. Each season in the Hudson Valley brings its own enchantment, but autumn is especially magical, filled with apple picking in the orchard, crunchy leaf walks in the woods, and pumpkins on the porch. The woodland critters who dwell alongside us bring endless delight, reminding us that the smallest joys are often the grandest of all. A cozy cup of tea on a rainy afternoon, crimson leaves dancing in the wind, or a small chipmunk collecting acorns for his burrow. These are the simple, fleeting moments that make our countryside cottage feel like a charming storybook come to life. We invite you, dear reader, to settle in and enjoy a collection of fall stories from our cottage diary. Signed, Lindsay and Jonas. P.S. We hope you've poured yourself a lovely cup of tea. Just a little note to say that if you love vintage and cottagecore as much as we do, you might enjoy the charming art prints and seasonal postcards we've created. Available in our Etsy shop linked below. These hand-painted tea bag dishes are one-of-a-kind originals looking to accompany you for tea time in your cozy home. Now let me share a little poem from our cottage diary with you. Oh, crisp autumn weather, my kettle is calling. It's calling your name when the leaves start falling. Please do come in, don't just stay outside my door. Tea and laughter have always room for one more. As a golden September gives way to October's enchantments, we contemplate the charms of this cherished autumn season. The cozy comforts that warm our hearts and make us feel at home. We asked our cozy community on Patreon what they find charming about autumn, and it's our pleasure to share their inspiring answers, and we would love to hear yours as well. A walk through the forest where squirrels scurry up and down oak trees, knocking down acorns that deer are grateful to find as they forage through the colorful woods. Leaves turning from lush green to golden autumn hues of orange, red, and yellow that softly drift down. Collecting and pressing leaves, and then comes the smell of burning leaves, but only after enjoying the crunch of the leaves underfoot for a while. Fiery orange sunsets that fade into silvery moonlit nights. The hooting of an owl singing an eerie tune, accompanied by the sounds of the whispering wind. Thrifting a new fall sweater, pulling out a favorite plaid jacket, learning to crochet or knit, wrapping a scarf around your neck on a windy day. Reading a thrilling book by candlelight on a dark, rainy afternoon, with vintage music playing softly in the background. Browsing a local library or bookstore, and then popping into a little coffee shop for a pumpkin spice latte. Drinking apple spice tea, mulled cider, or watching the steam rise from a freshly brewed coffee. Having a cozy tea time outdoors, baking cinnamon rolls and pumpkin bread. Small town festivals, visiting an orchard for apple picking, hay rides, corn maze, and of course a pumpkin patch to find the perfect gourd. Roadside farm stands with the fruits of the harvest, apple cider donuts freshly baked. The scent of the first log fire and wood smoke. Warm fall lights of homes glowing at twilight. The first soup of the cool weather season simmering on the stove. Extra blankets on the bed on a chilly night, and watching old atmospheric movies while snuggled up underneath. Lingering fog like a veil. Dew-filled spiderwebs on the garden gate. Sweeping leaves off the porch. Dried flowers from the garden. Planting spring flowering bulbs, and decorating with mums and pumpkins, while watching chipmunks collecting acorns. Clear sunshine and air as crisp as that first bite of an apple. There's a feeling in the fall of all being right in the world and feeling good to be alive within it. In a word, autumn is magical. Early autumn greetings from Cobweb Cottage. Autumn has arrived here in the Sleepy Hollow countryside, yet summer still lingers during this doorway from August to September.
The mornings are crisp and cozy, while the afternoons are filled with golden sunshine that seems to illuminate everything from the tallest tree to the most intricate spiderweb. In the cemetery beside the cottage, we look for natural decorations such as acorns that goes from green to all sorts of lovely brown tones. We collect some, but we leave more for the critters.
One of the graveyard's greatest gifts is the hydrangeas, whose blossoms remind us of little clouds splashing in the sunset. Each year, we dry a bouquet for the cottage and share with our neighbors too. One of our favorite ways to welcome autumn in the Hudson Valley is to visit a local farm and walk through the orchards of precious little peaches, plums, and pears.
We also love foraging in the fall. We search for blackberries in the brambles and making sure they are eatable and suitable for placing in a pie.
When the garden turns from green to gold, and when armfuls of colorful mums and pumpkins are arranged along the porch, then the inhabitants of Cobweb Cottage know that autumn has certainly arrived to greet our little home. Tibby the chipmunk and the other critters have taught us that the best way to celebrate fall is to enjoy small and simple moments, to collect them like the acorns and leaves that are beginning to drop from the towering trees in this corner of the woods. As the shadows begin to fall earlier, some of the cottage critters say bye for now, while the rest of us settle in to welcome autumn's cozy embrace. On a crisp, cool morning like this, when you awaken to a chill on your toes and nose, it is indeed time for sweater weather. It's the perfect opportunity to pull out the autumnal linens, cozy knits, and accessories from the wardrobe. Our cottagecore clothing is mostly either secondhand, handmade, vintage, or vintage inspired. Now it's the cottage's turn for a seasonal transformation of attire. Each year we add to our little collection of cottage decor that is mostly thrifted, vintage, or handmade gifts. When we go to antique and secondhand stores, we always keep an eye out for rustic, woodland, and cottagecore treasures. These keepsakes are full of nostalgia and memories, and that's what makes them so darling to us. Each item holds a story, and we feel honored to be adding our own history to them. In a home for two, love, together we'll rest, where only true love can weather the test. Don't be delaying, the organ is playing, the whole world is saying, go feather your nest. These lyrics from 1920 ring true to me even 100 years after they were written. There's just something instinctual about autumn's arrival and how it makes me want to feather our cozy nest here at the cottage. So I'm taking a leaf out of my feathered friend's book and using pressed leaves and other forest treasures to decorate this vintage woodland display on the dresser. Speaking of books, I always find so much inspiration from antique covers and illustrations found in charming old storybooks like this. I suppose I find so much enjoyment in decorating because, in a way, I can create my own little fairy tale world. Of course, any fairy tale would not be complete without the local forest, flora, and fauna. And what would fall be without mushrooms on the forest floor? I love adding little natural details that I've foraged over the years. Each one holds a special memory for Jonas and I, whether we pick them up here in the Sleepy Hollow countryside, or in the forests of Sweden, or in the mountains of California. September is a sentimental month for Jonas and I, because we were wed on the first day of fall. Since we're coming up to our 10-year anniversary, I wanted to incorporate some decorations from our fall fairy tale wedding. It feels so special being able to display these treasured keepsakes again. Evening marks the close of day. Skies of blue begin to gray. Crimson hues are fading in the west. Evening ever brings to me dreams of days that used to be, memories of those that I love best. When shadows fall and trees whisper day is ending, my thoughts are ever wending home. When the crickets call, my heart is forever yearning, once more to be returning home. As autumn approaches, I always get such a sense of nostalgia for family traditions and the comforts of hearth and home. Sometimes I can feel a little melancholy as the shadows start to fall a little earlier every day, which brings us indoors more. In the evenings is when I find the true coziness of autumn, that heartwarming feeling of your home wrapping you like a hug. To truly welcome autumn at the cottage, a tea party is in order. As the scent of warm cinnamon apple pie warms the air, we set the table for a little seasonal celebration that you are welcome to join.
The first thing to do before a cottage starts to look ready for Halloween is to visit the pumpkin patch, finding the right pumpkins for our porch. The quirkier stem, the better. It is fascinating how many different colors pumpkins come with. It is like the leaves in the trees. Everything from yellow, orange, brown, and spooky. An autumn farm visit can be a stress-free expedition. Especially if you take your time and let the right pumpkin find you. If you get a sense that the pumpkin you are staring at wants to come home with you, you know it is probably the right one.
It's time to decorate the outside of the cottage. We're using the pumpkins and some cornstalks that we also got from the farm to spookify our cottage in a vintage, primitive way. Cornstalks add an amazing atmosphere around a lamppost or on the porch.
As soon as we placed the pumpkins throughout the garden, it seemed to attract a friendly feline. We like to think that he enjoys visiting our little garden of magic. Perhaps because he wears the same colors as our pumpkins. We dubbed him the unofficial Cobweb Cat.
To decorate inside, it's a tradition to play some vintage tunes and wear the proper attire to get into the spirit of Halloween. Our vintage-inspired Halloween decor is simple, but we love it so much that it's pretty much the same as every year, although we'll add some recently thrifted and handmade items here and there. The black, white, and orange color palette, with a touch of country primitives, adds to the warm and cozy spooky atmosphere of autumn at Cobweb Cottage.
It is not often we get to celebrate our birthdays with family, so we have planned a cozy country brunch for the unique occasion. We are making an autumn apple pancake with a garden frittata. For fika time, we thought it would be fun to have a pumpkin tea party with all sorts of autumn delights. It warms our hearts to be able to host our special guests at the cottage. Since I work as a professional pumpkin carver, I usually don't have much time to carve a jack-o'-lantern for ourselves. But this year, we decided to do our own Cobweb Cottage pumpkin, and seeing our cottage on a pumpkin makes us love it even more. Many people assume that carving a pumpkin is done very quickly. The truth is that it takes many hours to finish a fine art jack-o'-lantern. The first step is to illustrate the design with ink on the pumpkin. The round shape makes it more tricky, although isn't Halloween supposed to be about tricks or treats? Next step is to carve out the parts you want to glow. You need nerves of steel, because if you slip up, there is no way going back. Finally you got it, and you can make some final adjustments of the lighting from inside the pumpkin. It's a real treat to see your masterpiece illuminated.
As November swept into the valley, the woods grew bare, their trees shedding golden leaves in graceful dances, twirling through the air before settling gently to the earth. A soft hush fell over the countryside, broken only by the distant calls of geese heading south to warmer skies. These November days feel like a deep sigh, slow, peaceful, and ready for the quiet slumber of winter. The last leaves drift down in quiet grace, a gentle call to pause and gather autumn's last golden hours before winter's hush. Each fluttering leaf murmurs of nature's rhythm, inviting us to linger and savor the season's final warmth.
The little yellow cottage at the forest edge stood warm and inviting, wrapped in fiery red leaves that rustled softly in the breeze. At the heart of the garden, the old maple tree hugs the cottage with its crimson leaves, glowing like embers in the fading light of the day. Through the cottage windows, the golden light of the tree pours in, casting a cozy warmth over the rooms, making the air feel snug and inviting. Tibby the chipmunk and the other critters busily gather the last of the nuts, preparing for winter's hibernation. The garden has grown still, with only the pumpkins left, bright, cheerful bursts of color, sitting quietly, waiting for the first frost to touch them. Beyond the stone wall, the old cemetery grows more peaceful each day. A perfect spot for melancholy strolls by lantern light. As evening falls, the hoot of an owl echoes through the trees, a lullaby to creatures and the dwellers of Cobweb Cottage. Beneath a star-filled sky, the world settles into the peaceful rhythm of the coming winter nights.
Before we eat, let's take a moment to express our gratitude for this daily bread. This helps us get into a better mindset before we talk over our plans and get into our workday. Next, we'll wash the dishes and place a few apple ends out for our chipmunk friend. It's so delightful to see him scampering about the old stone wall between the cottage and neighboring cemetery. His joyful chirps in the morning are something we'll miss dearly when he's gone into hibernation. Watching the last leaves fall in the graveyard behind the cottage makes us imagine what they might say to each other. It reminds us of Chapter 8 of Felix Saltines' Bambi, which we shall read for you right now.
The leaves were falling from the great oak at the meadow's edge. They were falling from all the trees. One branch of the oak reached high above the others and stretched far out over the meadow. 2 leaves clung to its very tip. "It isn't the way it used to be," said one leaf to the other.
"No," the other leaf answered. "So many of us have fallen off tonight. We're almost the only ones left on our branch."
"You never know what's going to go next," said the first leaf. "Even when it was warm and the sun shone, a storm or a cloudburst would come sometimes, and many leaves were torn off, though they were still young. You never know who's going to go next."
"The sun seldom shines now," sighed the second leaf. "And when it does, it gives no warmth. We must have warmth again."
"Can it be true?" said the first leaf. "Can it really be true that others come to take our place when we're gone? And after them still others, and more and more."
"It really is true," whispered the second leaf. "We can't even begin to imagine it. It's beyond our powers."
"It makes me very sad," added the first leaf. They were silent a while. Then the first leaf said quietly to himself, "Why must we fall?"
The second leaf asked, "What happens when we have fallen?"
"We sink down."
"What is it under us?"
The first leaf answered, "I don't know. Some say one thing, some another, but nobody knows."
The second leaf asked, "Do we feel anything? Do we know anything about ourselves when we're down there?"
The first leaf answered, "Who knows? Not one of all those down there has ever come back to tell us about it." They were silent again. Then the first leaf said, tenderly to the other, "Don't worry so much about it. You're trembling."
"That's nothing," the second leaf answered. "I tremble at the least thing now. I don't feel so sure of my hold as I used to."
"Let's not talk any more about such things," said the first leaf.
The other replied, "No, we'll let be. But what else should we talk about?" She was silent, but went on after a little while. Which of us will go first?
There's still plenty of time to worry about that, the other leaf assured her. Let's remember how beautiful it was. How wonderful when the sun came out and shone so warmly that we thought we'd burst with life. Do you remember? And the morning dew and the mild and splendid nights.
Now the nights are dreadful, the second leaf complained, and there is no end to them.
We shouldn't complain, said the first leaf gently. We have outlived many, many others.
Have I changed much? Asked the second leaf shyly but determinedly.
Not in the least, the first leaf assured her. You only think so because I got to be so yellow and ugly. But it's different in your case.
You're fooling me, the second leaf said.
No, really, the first leaf exclaimed eagerly. Believe me, you're as lovely as the day you were born. Here and there may be a little yellow spot, but it's hardly noticeable, and only makes you more beautiful, believe me.
Thanks, whispered the second leaf, quite touched. I don't believe you, not altogether, but I thank you, because you're so kind. You've always been so kind to me. I'm just beginning to understand how kind you are.
Hush, said the other leaf, and kept silent himself, for he was too troubled to talk any more. Then they were both silent. Hours passed. A moist wind blew, cold and hostile, through the treetops.
Now, said the second leaf. Then her voice broke off. She was torn from her place and spun down. Winter had come. Chilly mornings settle outside, but within the cottage the air is warm and fragrant with cinnamon, cloves, and freshly brewed coffee. It's a time for slowing down, for gathering close and savoring the quiet, simple pleasures as the seasons change. This holiday season, we draw inspiration from timeless tales like Little House in the Big Woods, Little Women, and the charming art of Tasha Tudor, which celebrates the simple beauty of rustic, nature-inspired decor. To create a heartwarming centerpiece for our cottage kitchen, we are making old-fashioned orange Pomander tea light holders, using fresh oranges studded with cloves to fill the room with a spicy, festive glow.
In the afternoons, the wind begins to dance more fiercely, tugging at the last of the leaves and scattering them across the garden and landing on the fairytale pumpkin. This charming heirloom pumpkin is about to be transformed like magic into a hearty pumpkin soup. The sweet, dense flesh works wonderfully in soups, pies, and baked dishes. It takes a bit of an effort to make it from scratch yourself, but it is so rewarding knowing that this pumpkin has been with us the entire fall season. We indulge in a pumpkin-themed tea time for two, with homemade pumpkin pie and a warming pot of tea that complements the flavors of the season. Tea time becomes our way of slowing down, savoring the simple joys of autumn and sharing a cozy moment together.
Thank you for stopping by Cobweb Cottage. We hope you found a little peace and quiet here. If you've enjoyed our diary stories and artwork, we're delighted to share that you can find our art prints and postcards on Etsy, linked below. And now, dear friend, we extend to you a parting poem to wish you a cozy autumn. Until next time, bye for now from all of us at Cobweb Cottage. There's a corner of the woods that the critters call their home, where a cozy cottage stands, making no one feel alone. With a warming cup of tea and a slice of homemade pie, enjoy this charming moment that is shared by you and I.